Puvirnituq has been dealing with a water shortage since March. Last week, the Inuit community of 2,100 in Nunavik declared a 10-day state of emergency.
Inuit throat singing is guided by the land. And this land is vast. Located in the northernmost reaches of Quebec, Nunavik is roughly the size of Alberta. 14,000 call this land home. Spend enough time on this land, and you can hear how Nunavik is reflected in throat singing, in the running of water. Uncompromising wind. The panting of sled dogs. And it's not only the romantic natural elements serving as inspiration. The song you're hearing was influenced by mosquitoes. Others by more man-made devices.
Now we will be imitating the runners of the dog sled. Sharpening the runners of the dog sled.
In 2022, Akinisi Sivirapik and her sister performed for Pope Francis prior to his apology for the church's role in residential schools. Sivirapik has traveled the world exhibiting her throat singing, collaborating with institutions such as the Montreal Symphony Orchestra. But when she's not performing, she can be found here.
This is caribou soup.
In her home community of Puvirnituq at the Pituat family house.
What we do is different activities for the community, for different ages. Elders gatherings, youth gatherings.
Fresh, they're still hot.
Sivirapik is the general manager of this community center. The caribou stew is just one of the items on the menu for tonight at the family house.
Whitefish eggs with cloudberries, blackberries that we picked on the land.
The theme is date night. In addition to enjoying Inuit cuisine, the couples that are invited will also take part in a discussion on having healthy relationships.
When we work with the youth, it's much needed in the community.
With a population of over 2,100, Puvirnituq is the largest Inuit community on the Nunavik side of the Hudson Bay, and the second largest in all of Nunavik. About 2/3 of folks here are under the age of 30. For years, their population has been booming. There's a lot of kids playing in the streets. And because of the lack of housing here, a lot of overcrowded houses when they go home for dinner. Infrastructure everywhere is struggling to keep up. So the family house has an important role to play when it can stay open.
It was a sad moment for our community members who come here to do activities because we were forced to be closed for a whole month to help with the emergency state.
In May, a state of emergency was called to combat a water crisis. Not only was there a boil water advisory for 3 months, some people went days, even weeks, without running water in their homes.
We had to even take snow from outside to do our own dishes, to wash our hands, even to deliver water to the elders. Some of them were saying, I've been thirsty, so I need water delivered. Once you're so used to having water to this day, it's very hard not to have it.
In this flag is the logo of Puvirnituq. This man is carrying 2 buckets of water.
In November 2024, Lucy Halingo was elected mayor of Puvirnituq. Puvirnituq's logo has taken on an unintended irony since she called the state of emergency.
Some of the families, they had to fetch snow from outside and melt it to do their dishes and to also flush their toilet. When families of like 7 that are not receiving any water. It's very tiring and very frustrating.
The issue was that in March, this pumping station that feeds river water to the filtration plant had a power failure. The backup generator didn't kick in like it was supposed to. Then, the pumps failed, causing a normally heated section of pipe to freeze and break, meaning the river water couldn't be pumped to the filtration plant for treatment and easy delivery. In a very real way, Johnny Kinajuak and his co-worker Moses Novalinga are the modern embodiment of the Puvirnituq logo. Because of permafrost, there is no underground piping to houses here. So every weekday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Kinajuak and others physically truck water from the filtration plant to individual homes and businesses. Kinajuak says he'll fill up his 13,600-liter truck 9 or 10 times a day while delivering water. But a multi-generation family living in one home will go through this water pretty fast. His is one of 4 trucks working, on a good day, and the water crisis was exacerbated by not being able to fill up at the centrally located filtration plant.
It only was 3 trucks running during that crisis, water, and we have to go get water along the way to a river. It's about half an hour ride, and go back to another half an hour. That's an hour.
Kinajuak says he was occasionally the target of people's frustrations when they went without water.
But sometimes not easy when they need water, and people get angry or really need water, and we work so hard.
While the job is never easy, there are seasonal ebbs and flows. Autumn is nice for the water delivery guys because the bugs are mostly gone. And the full force of -30 winter days has yet to arrive.
We had the blizzard too. When we get winter, the road is getting a lot snowy or slippery.
On this day in mid-September, Kinajuak and his colleagues are able to do their job thanks to a workaround. A nearly 3-kilometer-long flexible pipe is pumping river water over ground from a manhole, down a gravel road, up this hill, through a hole punched into this door, which leads to the water filtration plant, where the trucks get their water.
I'm a little bit concerned because anytime soon we'll be receiving snow.
This pipeline is a temporary solution that will not last the winter. The good news is that in mid-October, the permanent pipe that froze and broke was finally repaired. The bad news is that the heating cable that's supposed to serve as a failsafe will have to wait until summer to be replaced. Public Works says this won't stop the water from flowing through the winter as long as the pumps don't fail again. But those who live here know that's far from a given.
We do have elders who needs to be in a clean place, children. We have 2 schools in the community. Sometimes they have to close because there's no water. It's worrisome. We need to have a working fix.
If Sivruapik sounds less than convinced, it's because she has reason to doubt. She's not alone in her concern.
This water crisis that we experience is not the only one. We've been going through this for so many years.
Exclusive French-language documents obtained by APTN Investigates show that in February 2022, a less serious problem with the pipe freezing happened. Coupled with only 2 functioning water trucks out of 5, the community went several weeks with severe water shortages. When Quebec was asked for disaster funding help to fly in a new water truck to the community, it was refused because cold weather is not considered a disaster in the eyes of the law. In the aftermath of the 2022 crisis, a report put out by the Regional Health Authority says that insufficient water contributes to issues like diarrhea, skin infections, and respiratory illnesses. as well as psychological problems such as anxiety and depression. It doesn't end there. Water delivery issues continued to plague the community in 2023 and 2024, with consistent problems not being adequately addressed. For instance, the roads in Puvirnituq are not kind to water trucks, leading to constant breakdowns. And the fewer trucks there are on the roads, the less water there is for people to do the dishes, take a shower, flush the toilet.
When the trucks, only 2 trucks or 1, I don't like it because our village are getting bigger. Lots of constructions, more buildings.
The Puvirnituq Hospital, which also serves other smaller Inuit communities along Hudson's Bay, was evacuated during the last water crisis. But it has been struggling for years to maintain sanitary standards in the face of frequent water shortages. One email between health workers obtained by APTN describes 4 patients who were giving laxatives a day in advance of scheduled colonoscopies. But they were housed together in a home that ended up having no water, leading to a disgusting and humiliating situation for the patients. This summer, Puvirnituq finally got new trucks, but old problems persist.
We received 2 new water trucks during the first sea lift, but both of them, they were not functioning well already. And they are made for highways, not for bumpy roads like our roads. I want to say it's getting better, but I cannot promise because of the malfunctions that already exist when they come.
So what happened this past spring has happened before, and could happen again, unless serious changes are made.
I don't know what to expect because it's been so many years that this issue has been brought up to the government. They say that they give us enough money without having the knowledge or the experience that we go through.
There's a consensus that what happened in Puvirnituq is bound to happen in other Inuit communities. On a smaller scale, it already has. Meanwhile, Quebec is paying for studies on what happened, but has stopped short of committing to additional funding. And behind-the-scenes emails show that Inuit in Nunavik need to look in the mirror as well.
As an Inuit person from Quebec, we do deserve the same services that down south receives.
It's a hazy morning in Quebec. This village of about 2,700 serves as the capital of Nunavik. As the fog dissipates on this September day, leaders from many of the 14 Inuit communities in Quebec are meeting. Collectively, they're known as the Nunavik Regional Government, or KRG for short. Today's pressing topic: water delivery.
This is a very unique and complex thing in Nunavik. From day one, we have been having a problem-driven approach.
Hossein Shafaradi would like to start talking about solutions. As Director of Municipal Public Works for the entire Nunavik region, he's well aware of the challenges.
Unfortunately, there is still lack of housing. There are still houses that are multiple generations living together. They are overcrowded. The tank that gets full in the morning lasts until noon.
Shafaradi has spent $275,000 of his budget to have an app built that will streamline water delivery. The app is currently undergoing testing in Quebec after 3 years of development. What it does is take requests from folks who need water, then plans the most efficient route for the drivers to deliver it. In theory, it will save the drivers time, and for the trucks, soften the wear and tear. Shafaradi also likes it for another reason.
So when we go to negotiate with the government, and we know that, okay, the situation with water in this period in Inuktitut or in Puvirnituq is bad, for example, but how bad? How long does it take from a service call to a service delivery? Is it a matter of hours bad? Is it a matter of days bad? Is it a matter of weeks bad? So we don't have data to analyze and present.
Shafarati emphasizes that the app is not a be-all, end-all solution. Lucy Halingo thinks it will be a good tool, but the mayor of Puvirnituq is currently more concerned with employee retention.
They just leave the jobs because of the pay rate is very low. It's very expensive to be living in Inuit region, and when you have children and you're not getting benefits the same as the hospital workers or any other organization, nobody wants to work for low-paying jobs. And the little money that we get from the government is not enough to cover, and we're not able to compete with other organizations.
Documents and emails obtained by APTN show that along with infrastructure issues, driver absenteeism also poses a problem when it comes to water delivery. In January of 2024, the water shortage got so bad workers at the Puvirnituq hospital began training to drive the trucks due to a lack of municipal employees. An email exchange between public health employees describes relations between the KRG Municipal Works and Puvirnituq City Hall as difficult, going on to say that Puvirnituq municipal employees never respond to emails when it comes to infrastructure work. The email also notes there is no support offered to town managers to learn and do their job.
When I went back to my position, I had to relearn how to communicate with KRG. And also, there was no town manager at the moment when I got the seat as a mayor, and we had to hire from out of town to make things work.
Halingo wasn't the mayor for the 2022 to 2024 water shortages. She's diplomatic when asked about how the last administration handled infrastructure issues. Instead, she says people are often put in a position to fail. And because of infrastructure challenges, the margins for mistakes are thin.
There's always employment turnover. It's not just the municipal, it's everywhere. It's at the hospital, it's at the school. So we always need training.
It's the difference of day and night.
Shafarati is describing how communication between Puvirnituq and KRG has improved under Halingo's leadership. However, he acknowledges a difficult truth that others dance around. The most recent water crisis was caused in part by negligence from an underqualified individual who was filling in for the absence of the usual water treatment operator.
When there is a new operator, we do a very simple basic test to see where they stand in terms of math, in terms of science, to see where we start our training from. The gentleman didn't know the freezing temperature of water.
Shafarati points to how properly training water operators involves Inuit leaving their communities for years because there are no water treatment trade programs in Nunavik. It's also important to note that many Inuit are working through intergenerational trauma, and that the first wave of colonialism is much closer in the rearview mirror for the people of Nunavik.
Let's look into it from a perspective of equity. Let's look at the infrastructure gap that we have in Nunavik.
KRG has a budget of almost $400 million to help fund everything from policing to internet to childcare and all the infrastructure that entails. About 14% comes from the federal government, with 77% coming from the Quebec government. Much of that money trickles down to the communities, which are officially known as Northern Villages.
In terms of infrastructure, you need money. In terms of feet on the ground, you need money.
Shafarati explains his budget of about $200 million over 4 years breaks down to about $3.5 million a year per community. And since things are more expensive in the north, those dollars don't stretch as far.
Just to optimize the trucking system and have a resilient infrastructure, this year's money, we need something about $130 million just for Puvirnituq.
In the communities, there's some old water pipes.
During the September meetings in Kuujjuaq, Meggie Imudluk was elected the new KRG chairperson. Imudluk is hitting the ground running. She's preparing for some funding negotiations with Quebec. But Inuit declined to do an interview or provide a statement on how negotiations are going. However, in 2024, ITK, the organization that represents Inuit at the federal level, identified a $75 billion infrastructure gap for the 4 Inuit regions in Canada. They proposed a 35-year funding plan for Inuit communities to catch up with the living standards of the South.
On veut travailler ensemble.
Meanwhile, Quebec's Minister of Indigenous Relations also declined to do an interview. In a statement, a spokesperson says they are, quote, sensitive to the water issues in Nunavik, but adds that the issues surrounding municipal services go beyond their funding. A lasting solution to this issue will necessarily involve not only the government of Quebec, but also the northern villages themselves and regional organizations. In the meantime, documents obtained through an access to information request show that Quebec and KRG are funding a study by an engineering firm to come up with a feasible replacement to the water trucks. The possible solutions are redacted, but references are made to larger communities in Greenland and Nunavik, which have above-ground pipe systems, known as utilidors.
It is less labor-intensive, and it also is less vulnerable to weather events.
The documents also predict that Puvirnituq's population will triple to over 6,000 in the next 25 years, making water delivery by truck even more arduous than it is now. The feasibility study and cost analysis are expected to be completed by March, but Chafarati's initial rough estimate is bound to cause some sticker shock.
It's possible, but it is very expensive. The price tag is gonna be, for Puvirnituq, it will be like way above $500 million.
By any definition, it's a lot of money. And many in Puvirnituq lack confidence in Quebec being a good partner.
The ministers, they don't come and see our communities too often. They need to feel the reality that we face.
Date night at the family house starts off with an entree of dried beluga meat.
This is fermented beluga fat, yes.
With the fermented fat as a dipping option. Once it's time to serve up the caribou stew, the evening is in full swing. Having lost events like this for a month, Sivarapik no longer takes them for granted.
It feels great because they love doing, our community loves it when we do activities. And during the water crisis, we couldn't really do anything for the community.
Sivarapik doesn't take running water for granted either. Because for now, having a more dependable water delivery system in Puvirnituq is still just a pipe dream.